Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another wondrous, another exciting propaganda cast from your host, Imperial Dana. 2 vs 2 right for you and Simwoski. Yes, again, Simwoski. Apparently not all of got games on other maps, but apparently Simwoski has it all of a sudden. Amazing, splendorifously. We shall be watching Noluckystrike and Helpinghans fighting for the Germans for the 14th Panzer Division right here. Doctrines are Jaeger armor, joint operations, first support. Looks like Hans has already chosen mechanized assault. Opposing them shall be OMGPOP and VonIvan for the Soviets, for the 6th mechanized corps with urban defense, mechanized support, and well, apparently already meant mechanized support, so always from here early choices. And for VonIvan, so it's shock army, guard rifle, combined, and shock rifle. So a bit of rifle there for VonIvan, but back to Noluckystrike. Pushing on here, we see Hans moving up with this assault grenadiers, whereas Noluckystrike is pushing hard for the west with an MG42, quickly following up grenadiers after that. VonIvan making a pretty hard push for the right hand fuel point. Barbed wire going up. And assault gun is going to engage the conscripts right here. Conscripts making a quick rush into the house, and of course that's definitely going to limit the effectiveness of the assault gun, since the submachine guns aren't quite as effective against troops and buildings. Another squad of assault grenadier arriving there for Helpinghans. Barbed wire going up, hitting like heavy cover for the opponent. Combat inside the house. That's going to take some time there for Noluckystrike to dig out. Lots more conscripts there arriving for the 2 Soviet players. Assault gunners trying to catch the conscripts once more. They make it into a house, catching the assault gunners once more out in the open. And there go Communists make a rush there for the fuel point. By the same coming under intense machine gun fire from Noluckystrike to MG42. Then it's securing next to the point there, and we're seeing a mortar right out next. Interesting. Bit of a shift things here. Pioneers taking up position in the church. Comet is getting suppressed. Close, probably getting pinned. More assault grenadiers following up here for Helpinghans. But they do have heavy cover, and right there, there's not so many windows, so the assault gunners might be able to get a chance there. Although now more squads are arriving, more MP40s, again more conscripts are also arriving. This could turn out in a myriad of ways. Looks like there we go, the assault gunners are now getting surrounded right here by the road fence or whatever wall. We go fast to tricky position, trying to engage the other conscript on the road. More conscript applying pressure. All of a sudden, the assault gunners are almost fully surrounded on all sides, minimizing the effect of their cover overall. Combat is somehow made into the building. We're seeing more barbed wire going up here. My gosh. Then surviving looks like he's trying to get the mortars to do the job. No, the mortars bring up support, Helpinghans in the center of the village. But he's currently utterly surrounded without much really help him. That's a bit of a dangerous situation right there for Hansi. But finally, the conscripts have been forced out of the premises. Also looks like, oh, there we go. Tried to make it in, but the mortar round got them all. How unpleasant for them. Constantly running across the road. Careful, Hans. You're exposing your men to an awful lot of gunfire. Right here might be an idea to actually vault over and then closing the conscripts right there. They'll have very little to actually otherwise take cover behind, and the cemetery, due to the presence of heavy cover, will actually be an easy spot here for the assault gunners to cover in. Banned over. More gunners arriving. Another MG42, looks like a heavier tier 1 from Noluckystrike, whereas Hans has gone for a very, very light initial tier with only assault grenadiers. And there we go. Combat aims with flamethrowers, taking up position in the house opposite the church, going to burn out the fascists. Conscripts rushing hit straight into a lot of submachine gun fire here by the cemetery. Looks like the grenadiers, assault gunners and pioneers are being pushed back slowly but surely. This is not going to be a good engagement for the Russians. They're going to be within a reasonable resistance. But there we go, Molotov straight on the German positions, immediately forcing one squad to retreat. Veterans one from one assault gunner squad. MP40 continue far away. And there we go. Scout car has arrived. Oh my god, Pop has gone for the scout car. Going straight there for Hans' weakness. We do see some grenadiers with Panzerfaust as well. They might have a chance, but nonetheless, this is a bit of a poor situation all of a sudden for the Germans. We're seeing additional scout cars arriving here. OMGPOP just pouring in with the scout cars. definitely going for a rather swift, mechanized approach. This could prove to be quite fatal. There we go, pushing in, trying to hunt down as many squads as possible. MG4 moving up, but moving in too late. Panzerfaust does connect, and we do see a scout car arriving here for Helpinghans, but will he be able to arrive in time? Also, those gentlemen will definitely need some healing. So all of a sudden a lot of action, and there we go, a third scout car up. So far, nothing from VonIvan except a bunch of infantry, but now OMGPOP is really just going all in. Looks like he might lose one scout car out of 3. And there we go, autocannon up on Helpinghans, Sonderkraftfahrzeug 222. Die leichte Panzerspähwagen. Mortar rolling up once more. Germans are rather a bit on the back foot now. Mines going up, but a bit too late. We do see the second scout car moving up, causing havoc and carnage. And we see here that Hans is quick to dispatch his scout car over to the threatened area. And these assault grenadiers will need some healing. They're down to half health.
What are your orders?
Panzer Grenadier now arriving here for Helpinghans as well. A bit of Sturmgewehr action. Another assault on the village. So far the Germans have not managed an awful lot of the map. So now that Hans has finally gotten a chip, trained some more units, he might be able to apply a bit more pressure. Conscript taking a lot of damage here, but there goes scout cars with flamethrowers. Lots and lots and lots of flamethrower here. Mine going off, almost wiping out a Grenadier squad. The casualties are terrible, if not downright horrific. Scout car needs to pick the road back. Panzer is already on the move down here, cannot support. Support position up, Noluckystrike being overwhelmed. There we go, over to Hans, who's also gotten himself a half track. And there we go, anti-tank grenades up. They're going to disable the scout car and you can hunt down their own scout cars. And that looks like good night there for Hans's light scout car. Oh dear, or will it somehow escape the cold grasp of the Soviet Union? Looks like it. By Jove. Scout cars continue their reign of terror with their flame-throwing occupants. Things are chaotic and none too bright at the moment. Grenadiers forced away. Looks like they'll get wiped out. There we go. Cooked up.
What do you need?
And guards into arriving here for OMGPOP. Coming in rather close there with the MG42 half track up. Can reinforce nearby troops. Grenadiers arriving. Mortar also there. Helpinghans rushing ahead. His assault grenadiers. Scout car getting repaired. And there we go. The scout car was put ahead. Went off, I think, anyways, wiping out the scout car, causing a few casualties around it as well. Guards into making a rush. Another scout car down the Panzer's webs. Wreck it from behind. And looks like they might be able to get a combat engineer squad as well. Nicely down there. Assault is leading the charge in the meanwhile. Carrying through the guards. Infantry trying to hold up the front line. Not a lot of success. While up north, some pioneers are having a bit of a trouble. Lots of swift moving engagements. Pack on the way, clearly Helpinghans is not taking any chances. Half track and scout car position getting mortar. It looks like a Soviet mortar is up from VonIvan, which I think means he's gone for Soviet shock army. Anti-tank rifles doing what they can there against a scout car with their glorious anti-tank rifles. And the heavy mortar is definitely already doing a lot of damage to the Germans. Batch 22 on the German mortar, actually taking a nice chunk out of the mortar crew. And there go the pack arriving. Infantry continuing to fight. Half track almost repaired, in which case you can move on, support the front line, keep the troops reinforced as they push their way through. Guards infantry arriving, conscripts moving up, Panzer is almost getting wiped out. Here they need to pull back. Anti-tank rifles swiftly seized by Noluckystrikes. And looks like a quick cabal landing down the guards infantry in the middle though, and there we go. Oh, doesn't quite do as much as hoped, but still does the trick while MG42 continues to hold up here. But wide position basically serves to funnel in the troops into the MG42's line of fire, ensuring they can't flank. In this case, they were able to creep up and Molotov the offending machine gunners. Popping over to Pop with his 2 guards rifle squads with light machine guns, other fun things, conscripts. And got another scout car. Looks like he's in love with the scout car with the M3A1. Comrade, you seem suspiciously fond of capitalist equipment. I hope the NKVD will not need to have a talk with you. Oh, nice Molotov there. Assault guns moving up there. Closing in, up close. Assault rifles and MP40s doing what they can. And there goes submachine guns up. So definitely gone Soviet shot army. And there we go. Wiped out on the retreat. VonIvan's conscripts had no chance. And looks like an anti-tank rifle lies forgotten.
Conscripts, now you can use Molotovs to burn those bastards.
And Molotovs up, and there go, the church collapses. The German army does not abide by Russian Orthodox Christianity. Or something like that anyways. Theology is not really where I'm strongest, so my pardons. Either way, that church gun blown up. Guards have been taking up blocking position in the house while there are probably other forces being pulled up here. VonIvan moving ahead. And looks like the Soviets are slightly shifting things out towards the flanks. They're now going to hammer into the German position in the centre. Hans is being surprisingly passive at the moment, despite perhaps not having a force most suited for defensive operations, having gone for mechanized assault, not mechanized defense. Quick grenade there from Guns Infantry doing a nice chunk there of damage on the assault gunners. Panzer's running into trouble. Veteran, 2 Hans' troops so far veteran. Scout car pushing in again, and there we go. VonIvan's troops following up in the wake of the initial assault from Pop. Scout car doing what it can with machine gun and auto cannon. MG42 slightly awkwardly positioned. Half-Tech 7 is reinforcement point. Veteran, 2 mortars still blasting away, and conscripts overrunning the right flank, forcing Hans' assault grenadiers there by the southern position, by the crossing to pull back. Conscripts got lost, but Pop is quick to replace the losses. Fuel catch up, by the way, that's lovely. And an MG42 once more, a bit aggressive position. I think Noluckystrike needs to be a bit careful about that, as he ends up losing a lot, and there we go, in this case actually handing it over to the Bolshevik foe.
We have more conscripts at our disposal.
More conscripts arriving. And there we go, Guardsmen take up position in the house there. Conscripts holding up with the submachine guns, the 5841. One of the best submachine guns in the war, although interestingly enough, the Russians actually tried to make an even cheaper variant they could produce even easier. It didn't quite get as many out there as they probably could have done, but you know, they still actually used it. Overall, it shot less rounds, but it was actually easier to produce, but still a bit of an interesting move there by the Russians. And they've got veterans who got into it, while their position is starting to look a bit bad. They're down to 3 men, and they don't really have a lot of life left. And a Panzer 4 out for Noluckystrike. He's gone for the Panzer Kampfwagen. And what is this? Helpinghans has a Stufe 3 Ausführung E out as well. Scout car here. Apparently this Panzer 4 missed the first shot. My God, Heinz! Can you even see? There we go. Third shot. He finally hits. You're a disgrace to the German Panzerwaffe, Heinz. A disgrace. And go, nice position here by the assault grenadiers, essentially ensuring the Guards Infantry can't get out unless they fancy getting bullets. But never mind, no! Heavy mortar almost wipes them out! And there we go, the Stufe 3 Ausführung E rolling up. Also running here a Su-85 up for VonIvan. Panzer 4 getting button here, needs to get the hell out of here. And an Su-76 actually also running for VonIvan, so getting some assault guns up to provide a bit more volume of fire for the Soviet Union. Oh, Telemine! Destroying the engine and killing several troops right around it. If the Panzer IV is aware of this, of course, he could roll in and try and knock it out. It looks like that is not quite the case. Still, Telemines can be quite worth it. Assault gunners, though, are in dire need of reinforcement. They're not looking too happy at the moment. Stuke 3 trying to move ahead, but it rather lacks something to support. It's very much a piece of support armor. In particular this one, but overall, I mean, all assault guns are, but this one in particular loses its more lower velocity gun and thinner armor. But Hans seems to be slowing down quite a bit at the moment. He's not pushing as hard as one was expecting. Scout car into a bit of trouble over the HE-76, going to force it away. Nicely done there with 76 mm gun. Stuke 3 moving up, but coming under fire there from 2 HE-76s will definitely have the advantage over the Sturmgeschütz. Try to do so. D42 shifting over there. Assault gun is still not being reinforced, interestingly enough. It's actually time to have a look at VonIvan with the Soviet shock army. Interesting enough, no shock troopers, just lots of conscripts with submachine guns. BPSH 41s for everyone. That is the way of socialism, I think. At least Stalinist socialism. But there we go, actually, just as about to say, he doesn't actually use shock troopers, he gets some. The prat. Anyways. How dare he does something like that. Anyways, shock troopers arriving, clad in body armor. Technically, while they did have such troops, they were actually assault engineers, not shock troopers as such. So, little fun fact there. They were handed out more specific individual battalions to clear up more top position. Anti-tank rather doing a bit of shock. SG-76, Panzers. Oh! Mine went off, or perhaps a mortar round, hard to say. Also noting he's actually put his mortar up on counter-battery fire. Interestingly enough. Perhaps might have been an accident. Then again, might have been attempting to catch the Soviet mortar, except it's not barraging, it's just firing regularly. Which is always a good thing to do with your mortar roll. Stuke 3 so far not having much luck, barely hitting anything. Flampanzerwagen out here for Hans. SU-76 is bombarding away, lots of artillery, hammering away the centre, slowly forcing away the Germans, while Ivan also puts some assault in the flank. Assault guys are moving in to counter it, but things looking a bit grim. Here's Stuke, another Stuke 3 by the way, out. Doing what he can, rushing ahead, hoping to crush some Bolsheviks beneath its mighty threats. H-85 is pushing up support. And looks like the conscripts are close to getting wiped out. Panzer IV rolling ahead. Flampanzerwagen close to getting wiped out. Conscripts dying in the name of Comrade Ivan's desires. And something exploded. Looks like it was the mortar crew. Tragically so, I suppose. Medic bunker up here. Germans are setting up a frontline position, it would seem. Or more specifically, Hans's. To keep on fighting here, close to the front line, having to pull back. Guards infantry getting guards a bit. Stukes don't need to pull away. SU-85 rolling up. SU-6 continuing to roll with the engagement, providing rolling artillery support, if you will. Slowly bombarding away, removing any strong points the Germans might have. While the SU-85 clears out any armour. Nice little tactic there from VonIvan, definitely devastating and definitely chaotic as well.
Our enemy has only 200 points.
H-85 they'll push away, but no, it does not make it out. Looks like someone managed to wreck it, though I have no idea who did it. Either way, it's dead. It looks like VonIvan might be shot one conscript squad, but no. Boris Scump makes it out of there alive. Stuke needs to pull back. MD-42 covering the centre, well, what remains of the centre of the village. Pretty much the entire place except for a shack or two has been levelled.
The enemy has taken our supply sector.
Looks like the Panzer IV might get the SU-76. Also thinking it could try and call in a Sturmwick attack to actually halt the advancement of the infantry. And there we go, damaged engine. And good night. In fact, looks like he lost all of his armour. So we do now see that VonIvan has the Katyusha, and we also see a Sturmwick has been called in, immediately providing swift aerial support. Panzer IV scout car advancing, Blitzkrieg ahoy! Looks like he's going to try and make a run there for the Katyusha. Or perhaps not. Buttoning up. And then we go, an ISU-152 has arrived. 20 minutes into the game. A Soviet heavy assault gun is out. The Beast Slayer or Killer is here. Svedoboy, I believe it's called in Russian. Oh, and he got the Katyusha. Well, at least almost. He got only the crew, but there we go. Hans does not leave a job unfinished and blasts the abandoned rocket truck. And then tries to escape. Though, yeah, he didn't make it. What a shame. It had just gained veterans defeat, but it did its job well. Fuel cache up here. Looks like it's going to be taken down there by the Panzerkampfwagen. Another Panzerfoot arrives for Noluckystrike. Strafing runs continuing, blowing up the Stug. Ach du lieber. The Army Air Force is quite aggressive today. There we go, ISU-152 continues. Gets off a nice hit and almost wrecks it. Almost. The engine is pretty much buggered at the moment. And there we go. He got it. Never underestimate the ISU-152. It is a very dangerous vehicle.
Panzer IV, ready.
We've added to the fatherland.
Our machine gun turret has...
And looks like a bit of quiet. VonIvan rolling up more S-35s.
It is ours.
Note, by the way, this was not exactly the first gun of this particular kind of design. They had something almost very similar called the Su-85. The difference was it had overall weaker armor, and I think also the gun wasn't quite as impressive. Whereas the ISU-152 was based on the IS chassis. But making good progress. The Soviets have been thrown back there by one spirited Soviet German attack, but now looks like they might be getting back. Hans also tank packs. That is great. That is good. Also not joint operations. I think, you know, he should consider getting an artillery field officer out, and at this stage also consider getting some more infantry. Obviously, we do see a sniper out, the Scharfschütze. Shock troopers doing what they can here. Heavy fighting in the village centre. And mortar firing away once more. ISU-152 also providing heavy fire support. And looks like these conscripts are about to have one unpleasant experience. There we go. Lots of grenades, assault grenadiers assaulting over the hedgerows. And looks like the Su-35 creeped a bit too close. Actually got flanked here very nicely by Hans's pack. Then the pack gets cleared out by the Guards infantry. Less nice. And a howitzer going up. The Panzer Division preparing some artillery. But Hans is at the moment looking a bit short on units. He's barely got infantry left, although now looks like we might get an idea what some old resources have gone. The Tiger tank is here. But he's lost the Panzer Grenadiers. It would look like, practically so. Looks like he also recruited the mortar. Otherwise, he's only got one assault grenadier squad left by the looks of it. Overall, Hans is looking rather weak at the moment. He needs to then be very careful with the Tiger. And, oh, a Pack 43 went up and then went down as well rather quickly. Might have been a bombing strike by the looks of it. And Helpinghans is now rather being forced to support his teammate. By the looks of it, he rather lacks the force to really mount an assault himself anymore. At least for the time being, which is a bit dangerous. Still would like to see an officer. Howitzer firing away, bombarding the village centre. Might have gotten the mortar finally. Denying the Russians vital light artillery support. And some grenadiers holding out here, but that's looking to be a very bad position to hide as the shock troopers and companies move up. Assault pioneers rolling up. Sniper needs to be careful. Almost veterans free with the assault grenadiers. That would definitely to the Hans' advantage. We can get that far. Tiger's shifting path. Another half track out for Hans. Perhaps prop up another assault if you can get that far. Axis forces a bit on the back foot, and there we go. Over to Hans. No, very few units left. He's mostly got captives from the crewing and some other stuff. Of course, he's got the Tiger tank, and he certainly seems to be doing something with it. And there we go. Nice job actually popping down a smoke grenade before retreating, though. In this case, they end up perhaps not getting as much out of it as they could have. Then again, maybe they did. And another S-85 up for VonIvan. He loves his S-85s, it would seem. And another Flammpanzerwagen out for Hansi. Though right now he should focus on getting out some more infantry. Another Pack 43 up. Noluckystrike does not dally about. He really wants those Pack 43s, it would seem. Looks like Noluckystrike preparing the movement in the north. Slowly advancing while Hans is pushing up the centre. Careful with the assault grenadiers. One good hit. Oh, never mind. 2 eyes you want to use up from OMGPOP. That's dangerous. That's very dangerous for the Germans. And just blowing up a ship for the hell of it. There we go. Veterans who flee assault grenadiers. But these get a Tiger taking heavy damage. Getting covered with the anti-tank grenades. ISU-150 shots. The beast killers are approaching. Flammpanzerwagen doing what he can to hold back the infantry, but things are being a bit tense here. And note here how OMGPOP actually utilises the ISU-152s. He tries to keep them as much as range as possible. He's not using them like tanks, which is actually a common mistake. When people use this, they seem to just need to think, I just drive these up close to enemy combat, I win! And of course, afterwards, you know, never really thinking, but this is not tank, this is assault gun. Which is rather where things go wrong. Com age being pushed away. Grenadiers there getting plastered with dirt and explosives. Howitzers could be ready for firing in and Pack for the feed doing what it can, but so far having an absolutely 0 hit percentage. Germans seem to have made slow progress into the village once more. Hans getting some more infantry again, finally. That should definitely help things out. At least I would like to think so. Now all of a sudden things seem to have slowed down a bit. But then again, VonIvan is quick to follow up with a fresh assault.
The enemy has engaged us.
Enemy forces are secure.
Another heavy bolter up for VonIvan. Another assault into the centre. Assault guys. Oh, very close thing. One. Oh, there we go. Sturmwing flies in and wipes everything out. Soviet air support proving vicious as always, denying Hans a valuable unit in the blink of an eye. And now the support position over here getting blasted as well. Pushing up in the north as well. With Noluckystrike rolling in another Panzer IV. Oh, and the sniper went down. How unfortunate. Panzer with Panzer section now all of a sudden. A bit surprising that, to be honest. Oh, half track almost destroyed right there by one very impressive strafing run right there. And Popping over to OMGPOP. Also time for the mid-game analysis. Current situation is we've got a bit of a deadlock here in the centre. Both players sort of folding something approximating 50-50 of the map. So in that sense, nice split, albeit a bit awkward looking, as you might be noticing on either side as well. Bit awkward looking, never good that. More interesting to note, though, the victory points are considerably more different. The Soviets definitely have the advantage there, whereas the Germans are down to only 115. That rather puts the pressure in that regard onto the Germans, which is definitely something they'll need to keep in mind. Also, the Russians do have a certain advantage, and they've got 2 heavy assault guns. They've also got plenty of munitions for bombing strikes, and they've certainly also got the larger infantry forces. On the other hand, the Germans do have a larger armoured force because they also have their own hand with actual tanks, though they are not looking too good. And Hans in particular seems to be in dire straits due to a lack of infantry overall, which of course he can't, and also certainly also because he's rather relying on mechanized assault. And they like to mechanized company, which of course means he's very mechanized, but at the same time he's not got a lot of support units for his force, which of course means he's rather dependent on making quick strikes and doing a lot of damage and then pulling up. But the thing is, the way he's been fighting has rather currently been grinding Hans down very, very seriously. He's rather been going for a fight that probably doesn't fit his doctrine and play at all, I would argue. Of course, we might see later on if that turns out to be true, if he doesn't pull any sort of amazing surprises. Noluckystrike building up a large armoured force. I mean, again, Hans not looking so good. This is a bit of a limited force in terms of assault, whereas we do see Noluckystrike also lacking infantry. In fact, both German players strongly need to get some infantry out ASAP, and otherwise get that one panzer for repair. Perhaps, you know, keep this one reserved, and then perhaps launch some sort of assault either down here to perhaps draw away some of the Soviets' attention, or perhaps something up here. They should be careful about continuing back charging into the village, since that's currently what the Soviets have severely covered with 2 heavy assault guns and a heavy mortar. I mean, the Soviets are pretty much turned into the kill zone, so they really should strongly reconsider just waltzing into and trying to take that point again. Perhaps consider focusing hitting the flanks here, or here, perhaps trying to draw the Russians into pulling in and setting up some defences right here. The basis that comes under threat. That could also work surprisingly well, I think, for the Germans. For the Russians, again, nice decent force. They've got tank destroyers, artillery, and they've also got more infantry, which again does leave them with certain advantages over the Germans. They can certainly put up a bit more doing an attack, which again is quite important, and of course they can also grab more territory overall, so that's something the Germans do need to keep in mind. Again, they need more infantry. Of course, the Russians could keep pushing up here, though they might also have some success pushing up here, or some light success up here as well. I mean, going after the fuel cans will always work out, but let's push on.
Okay, that's the last one.
And there we go. Grenadiers actually going after the IH-152. Interesting move, perhaps not the wisest of moves. And there go Hans moving in with his Panzer Grenadiers. That could either work out well, but looks like we might actually see VonIvan immediately losing his Katusha, which would be advantageous. Then again, looks like the Grenadiers are just going to get wiped out there by the IH-152. Tiger moving up, and there goes Grenadier squad. No more, collapsed, dead. Marked vehicle up on the Tiger. That's definitely going to force Hans to pull back his Schwerer Panzer, lest he fancies having it blown to bits. There we go, SU-76 good following up. IH-152 moving up here, take up position along the river bit, perhaps setting up flanking position there. The centre of the village is a pure killing ground. There's barely anything standing except one tiny shed. The rest is burning or burnt out. Panzer force covering the flanks. We still got the Pak 40 up here, but ultimately it's not doing a frightful lot. In particular, not since all of the heavy assault guns and tanks are so on this side of the map, where the Pak 40 fleet can't reach. Howitzer doing quite well, continuing to blast away.
Incoming round. We are ready.
Oh, MG crew went down there, and Petrons won for the ISU-152.
We are under attack.
Tiger moving ahead, but oh, so many strikes all of a sudden, getting hit from several sides by ISU-152s, quickly knocking out its health and forcing Hans to once more retreat his Tiger. I mean, there we go, just devastating, of course, devastating also the pack right next to it, getting wiped out as well. Do not underestimate the ISU-152. It is a beast in its own right.
Squad at full strength.
And mining up their approaches here, covering out his flanks, probably to ensure that the ISU-152 does get immediately rushed. Nicely done there, nice thinking ahead there from OMGPOP. Very nice thinking. Bunker up coming this approach, in fact, but now coming under fire from the ISU-152, which it likely won't survive much of.
Yes, comrade. What do you need?
We built it as ordered.
Noluckystrike continues to bombard. More mines up there, really taking no chances whatsoever, and a bombing strike going in. Oh dear, looks like the Pack 43 is about to get another unpleasant surprise. Which should open up for a Soviet assault as well. Nicely playing ahead, there we go. We see Iron crossing ahead, we see OMGPOP slowly crawling forwards, but no immediate rushing there. Looks like Noluckystrike's got some plans on the flank, setting up his 2 Panzer force, while Hans slipped all up the center, missing a second Tiger out for him. More Tiger tank action for Hansi. And another Sturmwind rushing in. Flam Panzer going down.
Guards reporting capture complete. IL-2 bomb strike available to range.
Oh, and a direct hit right there. And the Sturmwind going down. But direct hit there on the Tiger, killing all the pioneers right next to it. Unfortunate, unpleasant. Russians recapture the village centre, or well, the remains of the village centre.
Meat has arrived.
Not really an awful lot left. And there we go, we see Noluckystrike preparing for the armoured assault. No infantry support though, no nothing, and of course he needs to be careful about the mines placed out around here, otherwise his assault will lose a lot of steam very quickly. And there we go, 1 tank hitting a mine, but 1 can still go on. The ISU-152 is definitely going to be exposed. Tiger pushing up the centre, second Tiger following up. Both Tigers actually damaged. Hans needs to be careful. And there we go, charging ahead here. ISU-152 is going to be targeted. Tiger tank here, marked vehicle. Hans needs to pull back. Works through. And what is this? Up north, a Panther has arrived. Panzerkampfwagen 5 here. ISU-152 getting flanked by the Panther 4. Tiger in the middle of everything. We see here the ISU-152 is actually spread out, so the tank destroyers. Other Tiger moving up. Need to be careful, Hansi. And there you go, ISU-152 looks to be going down here to the Panther 4. Tiger tank almost down. One more shot, one more shot. There we go, 1 ISU-152 down. An absolutely amazing armoured assault going here. Tiger blitzing ahead. This Tiger damaged engine, can't do much. This one going after the other ISU-152. Shot fails to penetrate. Where is the Panther? It's going after the Katyusha, not dealing with the ISU-152. Perhaps a dangerous mistake here. Another ISU-152 arriving. Panther 4 rolling it. Veteran G2, so much going on. Tiger tank stunned. Can they get another ISU-152? No, both shots fail to penetrate. And there we go, ISU-152 kaput. Tiger tank needs pioneer support desperately. Bobbing over to VonIvan. Absolutely vicious armoured assault here. Conscript squad. No, didn't make it. Katyusha might go down. There we go. Tiger tank here, almost veteran G2. Oh, 9! OMGPOP has been mining the roads! No, oh, fortunately Hans does not move it that way. Oh my god, that could have resulted in a blown up Tiger, though there still might be a chance of it blowing up. And blitzing away the Panzer IV. And finally down around here, good spot for artillery. Likely to hit something since there's been a mass retreat. Eventually, of course, they have to be back into the battlefield, but so far the artillery is hitting absolutely nothing. And the pack here is just becoming the centre of attention for all the ISU-152. And looks like the Tiger did not make it. The other one, though, is still standing. And definitely going to need some pioneers, and Hans is just doing his best to get as far away from enemy attention as possible. Panther being repaired with support from the Panzer IV. Another destroyed engine! Oh, VonIvan, you bastard!
Tank destroyer here.
Engineers ready.
Panzer IV trying to get away, but not doing good. Demo charge going up. VonIvan clearing out the bunkers like a boss.
What do you have for us? Contact with the enemy infantry.
Panzer IV blitzing around, perhaps trying to buy time for the Panther to escape. There we go, bunker kaput.
We have been promoted. It smells like pork.
Flammpanzerwagen up. Hans loves this Flammpanzerwagen. He doesn't seem to love his infantry though. No, Hans, don't move it ahead. It's only half health, Hans. Don't. Nine, Hansi.
Comrade.
Oh dear, Hans might be making a catastrophic mistake here. Might be. Not saying yes, but could be. The flamethrower tank burst open. Desperate attempt here to protect the central victory point from the shock troopers. 79 points left. This point is ticking down for the Russians. Good use by the smoke grenade to actually make it harder for the Tiger to hit them. Flammpanzerwagen moving in, going to force out the Russians from the positions. SU-85 almost getting that Flammpanzerwagen. Pack 40 also moving ahead. They're going to get gunned down. And no, he's moving ahead. The Tiger, he is. Oh, no. Hans blitzing ahead the Tiger, but that's going to be straight from the SU-85. And there we go, marked vehicle up, and stunned by the ISU-152 coming under from the two SU-85s. This is bad, this is very bad, meine Herren. That Tiger's going to go down very quickly. And there we go. That was definitely not the world's best move right there from Helpinghans. That was a Tiger that could have been Veteran 2 knocked out right before it happened. Definitely Hans being a bit too aggressive, a bit too cocky. Panzer IV rushing in. SU-85 close going down. Panzer IV Veteran 2 free, but barely running. The only thing holding it together is faith in the fatherland and ludicrous amounts of duct tape. And for some reason the Panther's still stuck up north, not really helping much. Second Panther out now. Looks like Noluckystrike had to get a considerably large armoured force up, but no infantry whatsoever. And I don't think Hans has anything left now. He's got one Panzer gun here, two Pioneers, and well, that's it. Now a half-track as well. And the medic bunker, well, you wouldn't be able to tell there were any medics. It was a medic station, except for the medics looking a bit suspiciously at it. Like they realise that's not the place they want to be working.
Our veteran status is confirmed.
Veterans are free for the howitzer.
Panzer IV.
And an infantry assault going on, and there's only a Panther holding it. That's probably not going to hold fully.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
More pioneers out. Still think you should get some infantry, at least an officer, to pop down some smoke and such. Lots of pioneers also out for Hansi. They've got plenty of pioneers but no infantry. They might want to rectify that a bit. I would certainly strongly advise it.
Russian tank in my sights.
Oh no, the Panther just moves ahead. They've got no minesweepers and he's just taking the roads which have been mined very judiciously by the Russian already there. Panther's out of the fight, can't do anything. Panther here, veterans you want to take out a fire. And what is this? Light artillery going in on all the Russian infantry, wiping out so many combat engineers and conscripts. Absolutely devastating. That's one hell of a light artillery barrage. Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever seen one that well pulled off. At least not in a long time. And lots of aircraft circling the skies. Another Mark vehicle going up there. IC-132, there should be 5 finding way. Forcing the Panther away. This one desperately needing repairs. And they go blitzing ahead, a bit of a bow maneuver, gets the SU-5, but he's spun down straight in front of the IU-150 on the Guards infantry. Mark vehicle is up. Doubtful if the Panther makes it out there alive. And no, the 80mm of frontal sloped armour saves the day. Incredibly enough. And there we go, armoured assault going in from the other side, Panzer force, but again, mines, ladies and gentlemen, mines aboard here. Unite the Panther 4 mobility, and even with Blitzkrieg, it's not exactly moving awfully fast with the damaged engine. I mean, if you've already got a broken leg, you can't run very fast no matter what. There we go, of course, already the armoured assault running into prompters of the mines. One Panther force stepping into the right off while the other one won't be able to do much at all. Ensuring basically for 30 minutes he's just ensured that a Panzer 4 won't be joining the fight anytime soon. And the Panther's going to hit another mine. And there we go, utterly destroyed engine. And the half-track down. Oh no, no! He's hitting his own men with the artillery. He's blowing up Hansa's troops. Ach du lieber! No lucky strike! That is absolutely not a lucky strike! Popping over to Hans, who's barely got anything standing. Panzer IV trying to escape. Su-35 on the prowl for Panzers. This is overall a pretty terrible situation. Hans in particular is not very combat effective. Looks like he's going to try and save up for a third Tiger. In the hopes that Krupsteel will see him through this. Panther up north. Seeing a lot of repairs, but again there's barely any infantry left. There's barely anything to really throw back the Soviet infantry. There's barely anything to hold up the Soviet advance that way. And there we go, Panzer IV is going to be in trouble when Station 5 catches up, but then again, no focus sight, so that might be advantage to the Panzer IV. Note he can almost wipe it out with about 2 to 3 shots due to veteran 3, and the increased damage it does. There we go, one more hit, come on Heinrich, fire frei, and no, it looks like the Su-35 escapes, blitzing away, but again, not going to happen frightfully fast. Ach du lieber, so close to getting wiped out, pull it up behind the shed, or the remains of the shed more specifically. Panther is doing what they can, suffering losses, so infantry moving ahead. MG42 from Noluckystrike. Hansa's Tiger rolls forwards.
Taking small arms fire.
Going for the victory point. Points are ticking down. They're also very close now. In fact, the Russian Germans have been able to almost equalise the victory point standing. Another ISU-152. OMGPOP seems to have only been making ISU-152s. Quite impressive.
Enemy tankers open fire! Tiger ready! Half-track
And this
has arrived.
one's been able to do a lot of damage. Another half-track out for Hansi. Panther rejoining the fight. Panzer 4 seeing a lot of repairs.
Prepare the Tiger to deploy.
2 Panthers up. 1 sport it would seem here for Noluckystrike.
Our brave infantry is dying.
This one closing in on Veteran 2. Huzzah! They're coming into a lot of danger here. ISU-152 managed to stun the crew with the sheer explosive force of 152mm high explosive shell. Panther blitzing ahead, but there we go. Buttoning up, buttoning up. Main gun, by the way, destroyed on the SU-85. Tiger rolls ahead. Panther supporting, but again, destroyed engine. It's not going to be of much use, Kameraden. There we go. Veteran 2 for the Panther. Side skirts are up. Tiger about to go down. ISU-152 from the other side of the river bank, providing nice fire support here. SU-85 abandoned. Panther just rushing ahead. And there we go. Tiger, crew shocked. Doesn't have much life left. And good night. The ISU-152 definitely proving its lethality on the field of battle. And VonIvan trying to save this SU-85, but there is no salvation from the Panther.
Enemy troops attacking!
Half-track ready.
SU-85 almost combat ready again. Just need someone to drive it. Points getting closer. Closer. Russians just need to prepare for another assault. That Panzer 4 is just a killer by now. Veteran 3. Same as the howitzer.
Shit! Heavy Panzer firing on us!
And those ISU-152s are just proving to be an utter menace.
Has arrived.
Massive infantry assault here up the northern part of the map, forcing the Panther away rather swiftly. Pushing for the centre as well. MG-42 trying to hold up the Soviet advance. Panther as well getting repaired here. There we go. Panther about to go down. Time to pop over to OMGPOP again. And Panther kaput. Strafing run. Oh, clearing out the MG crew almost. And another sniper for Noluckystrike.
Yes, comrade! We earned this territory!
And half track down.
We are taking losses!
Light artillery barrage in an attempt to cover things, but simply too late. Sniper trying to escape, but they might not survive either. There we go, the points are turning against the Germans once more.
All of our troops have been lost.
Lots of Soviet air support out now. Panther 3 on a rampage. Marked for destruction by the Soviet army. As well, it would seem. So having to deal with the ISU-152, this one in fact getting extremely close to Veteran 2 and thus the damage bonus. Another Stu 3 for Hans. I don't think he's going to be able to do much there, might find.
You need the big guns.
We stand! Contact with the enemy!
The sector is at
Careful with the mines, careful with the mines. OMGPOP knows how to mine, and there we go. With the damaged engine straight in front of an ISU-152, that is as bad as it gets. Ach, Heinz, why didn't he get someone for the minesweeper to check his bloody ward out? I do not know. Ask the commander. He seems to be minesweeper-phobic. And there we go, that's going to be the vets in the fleet. Panzer IV down. There we go. An ace, no more. A tragic loss for Germany. And now a Sturm Panzer IV all of a sudden. A Sturm Panzer IV.
Vehicles can be marked and targeted.
Panther rolls ahead, fairly repaired. But there's no such time for that. Points down to 8 for the Germans for the Panzer Division.
All units are here.
Veterans of the engine voted by the way for the Russians. And a shot crew. ISU-152 down here, and there we go. Game over. Quite the match, quite the fight here. Things were certainly turning around several times. Either side could have won this. In the end, though, the Russians won. The Germans, though, made a few mistakes. Plus, the Russians made the right move. For example, constantly mining down here, cover the flanks, make it harder for the German attack to move in their panzers, which really caught Noluckystrike because apparently he never really caught on to the fact the Russians were mining the snot out of it. And really, that sense, again, great mining from the Russians. OMGPOP definitely did a great job there, pretty much ensuring that any main approach from the Germans would immediately result at least one tank with the damaged engine, all of a sudden cutting down on their assaults, or at the very least cancelling out an assault fully. So that's quite well played right there by OMGPOP. For starters, also great use of assault guns, tank destroyers that certainly spaced them in such a way they couldn't just be easily outmaneuvered by the tanks. Well placed as well there again, but overall, I mean, just great usage of those ISU-152s right there. And overall, you know, good unit preservation, just keeping some infantry in fight. That's rather one of the problems for the Germans. Well, they didn't get enough infantry as things progressed on. They got a bit too focused on armor, and thus they actually lost out on something vital, of course. With all those ISU-152s, and with this mortars, of course, it wasn't going to be easy, of course, because they would suffer heavy infantry attrition. And in that regard, there was also a slight problem with Hans. You might be asking, what sort of problem? Well, he went for a mechanized assault play, support with the light mechanized assault again, as I mentioned. That was very light on support. It was very mechanized. It was very much about firepower and speed. The thing is, though, what Hans then proceeded to do was get caught up in a prolonged fight, which is probably the exact opposite thing of what you should be doing with such a force. It is not meant for fighting in the middle of the village, very slow fighting. You want to use your speed, you want to use your firepower to quickly strike the enemy's weak points, then pull out. He should have been attacking the flanks here and here, instead of just grinding up in the village. That was rather one of the problems for Hans, of course, charging in Tiger tanks like that without any support really didn't help him in that sense. Hans rather tried to use a blade like a hammer, if one was to use a metaphor, and obviously he managed to really dull his blade and ultimately completely bend it, meaning it really wasn't effective. And for the larger part of the game, Hans's force couldn't really do much at all. And again, that was the problem with the way he played. Again, he should not have been sort of grinding away his center, not with the force he was playing. He should have been harassing the flanks, putting up some pressure there, trying to strike that way out. Instead, what ended up to was that Noluckystrike played out with his tanks, and of course, noting he did so excellently. Second time, though, again, he failed because then the Russians had really been mining up hard. And I think, you know, he should have been sending up the Panthers around here instead of over here on the right flank, clearing up the ISU-152s. Had they done that, they'd probably have won. Instead, the ISU-152s were allowed to reign like a terror across the battlefield. I also think the Pak-43 should have been placed a bit closer to the front, but that's another matter. Germans could also have done with more mining, but overall I think it's, you know, lack of infantry, Hans's unfortunate use of his doctrine, overall his strategy, which again is not really sorted for the style of combat. He then tried to take out there in the middle of the village, which I again think rather shortcut his force. But overall, I mean, nicely played. I mean, they did play aggressively, did play nicely, but again, you know, Hans ultimately couldn't get the most out of it, and ultimately, Noluckystrike had to carry most of the fight, and he did so nicely. But ultimately, even he was ground down, partly because he then sort of tried to run several assaults here and here, which he quite couldn't manage. But there you go. I hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned a thing or two or three. If you did, want to subscribe, tell a friend. If you didn't, well, why not simply provide some feedback in the comments. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.